In the Chinese culture, for thousands of years already, since the beginning of the introduction of Prajnaparamita, monks and nuns and laymen, they all memorize this sutra. In the Chinese characters, it's only 268 words, and more or less the same in English. So maybe we all should commit it into memory, because this sutra, according to many commentaries and antidotes and many, many writings of enlightened monks, whenever they have impurities in their mind, whenever they have an overwhelming amount of mental afflictions, whenever they encounter what we call, quote unquote, outside devils or ghosts of spirits, they close their eyes and immediately recite this mantra, and the devils, mental afflictions will slowly, gradually disappear. And this has been very effective. In Chinese language it is. In the English language it's the same, because language should not be a barrier. That it doesn't mean that in the Chinese language it should be committed to memory, in the English language it's not. It's the mind, because when you're memorizing, when you are reciting this, your mind changes instantly. So we really should commit it to memory. Say when you have something that you are, maybe you are overwhelmed with sorrow, you're overwhelmed with sadness, or there's something that you don't know what to do, you are in a dilemma, and you always commit it to memory. It may instantly arouse your wisdom inside to resolve your problem. Commit it to memory. I commit it to memory, the Chinese part, and I'm absorbing the English part, and I'm also committing to memory. Okay, let's get back to it now. Prajnaparamita Hridaya Sutra, we already explained the title, and now we start with the first sentence. Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. That's the name of a Bodhisattva. Now, first of all, what is the meaning of Avalokitesvara? Avalokitesvara is the specific name. Bodhisattva is a common name. For example, specific names relate to your John, your Jeanette, your Jack, you got specific names. But you also have a common name, men, women, or students, teachers. So Avalokitesvara is specific. How specific? What's the meaning of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva? Let's get to it. Avalokitesvara has two meanings. The first one is the Lord who looks down. Avalokitesvara, a Sanskrit word. Isvara means the Lord who is free from all bondage, all human bondage, all mental afflictions bondage. So the Lord simply means the higher level of enlightenment. The Lord who is free from all bondage, from all mental afflictions. That's the first meaning. In the Chinese language, we call it Guan zai, no more impurities. So usually when Avalokitesvara is drawn in picture, it's an image, draws the Avalokitesvara, not cross-legged, with one leg hanging down and another leg at the top, all kinds of gestures, because it's free. The second meaning, he who hears the sounds of the world. Svara means the sound. So this Bodhisattva, this enlightened being, always listens to the sound of the world, listening for those who are in need. His compassion renders to all. He's trying to listen all the time to the sound of the world. So when you are in difficulties, when you request help from Bodhisattva, Avalokitesvara, if you recite his name, he will be coming to you to rescue you all the time, no exception. It depends on how sincere you are, how urgent the situation is, but you have to sound it out. So you have to practice sounding it out, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So when you recite mantra, you have to recite with sound. Better to recite with sound. He who hears the sounds of the world. Svara means sound. And this is the names But how about the meaning? Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva embodies one of the two fundamental aspects of Buddhahood. The first one is Maha Karuna, means great compassion. And the second one is Prajna. So remember, we just chanted the Maha Karunika Chitta Dharani. Remember, Nama Ratnatrayaya, Nama Riya Avalokitesvaraya Bodhisattvaya, Mahasattvaya, Mahakarunikaya. That is the great compassion mantra of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Many people here committed that to memory already. That is a very effective mantra which should be committed to memory. In the Chinese temple, all laymen commit all this compassion mantra to memory. So Avalokitesvara embodies two aspects, Maha Karuna, which means great compassion, or somebody call it the great mercifulness, kindness, great compassion, or some people call it the great love. Of course, there's a difference between love and compassion. If we look at it from the perspective of how broad the meaning is, if love is one-sided, it's not compassion. Because usually you love a person and that person doesn't love you, that creates hatred. Because if your husband loves you and you don't love your husband will be mad, right? So that's one-sided. So compassion is to love with no conditions. Avalokitesvara love to render compassion without differentiating whether, oh, you are my relative, you are my friends, that's the reason why I love you more than the other. So compassion or Mahakaruna means unconditional love. Prajna means wisdom. So Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, that means the Bodhisattva listen to the sound of the world who is in urgent need of help and renders compassion. It also means the Bodhisattva who is already free from all bondage. So that's the specific name. But how about the common name, Bodhisattva? We are all novice Bodhisattva, you and I. When we say novice, that means we dedicate ourselves. We vow that we would like to learn from the Buddha, to learn to be compassionate, to learn to render our help to all needy people. We vow to walk the path of spiritual odyssey, spiritual enlightenment. When we make that vow, we are a novice, a beginner in the path of Bodhisattva. So you are a Bodhisattva if you already make that vow of practicing great compassion, practicing wisdom. You are already a Bodhisattva. But the Bodhisattva has so many levels. You and I, we are beginners in a Bodhisattva. So usually in temple, we address someone, if we don't know him or her, we say, Bodhisattva, can you help me to take these things to the Buddha, to the altar table? Or Bodhisattva, can you help me this? Or can you do something? They refer to each other as the Bodhisattva. That is a very respectful name for people who practice Buddhahood. So Bodhisattva. So what is the meaning of Bodhisattva? Translated into Chinese is Pusa, which is a sound translation, Pusa, Bodhisattva. And Bodhisattva means enlightened being. You and I, we are in the process, in pursuit of enlightenment. When we have achieved enlightenment, we are the Buddha. Complete enlightenment, we are called a Buddha. So Buddhi, that means understanding and awakening. So Sattva is being, the being who is always in search of enlightenment, in search of the highest wisdom of understanding and wisdom. That is enlightened being. A being who seeks Buddhahood through the systematic practice of the perfect virtues, the paramita, but renounces complete entry into nirvana until all beings are saved. So if you are practicing Bodhisattva, you won't think that, oh, I want to be the Buddha. When I become the Buddha, I'm free from all bondage, I'm free and I don't have any more suffering. That is not enough for Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva always think about, I want to achieve enlightenment and Buddhahood. But if my understanding reaches higher and higher and higher and almost get into nirvana, I won't get into nirvana. I will always come back to the world to save. If the homeland is the most beautiful land, heaven, somebody call it heaven, the homeland, the most beautiful land, I won't return to my beautiful homeland until no one is suffering. Until hell is all empty, I wouldn't leave this world. That is the vow of Siddhikapa Bodhisattva. Siddhikapa Bodhisattva make the vow that I won't enter into nirvana until there is no one single victim in hell. He will wait and wait and wait until all beings are enlightened, until hell is all empty, no more hell. He will wait to save until there's no more hell. There's no more hell below us. Remember that song? Imagine there's no hell. Imagine there's no heaven. Imagine there's no religion. What's the point of religion when you don't need it? No religion, no heaven, no hell, no Buddha. You understand what I mean? You don't need Buddha. You don't achieve nirvana for yourself. Siddhikapa Bodhisattva said, I won't go into nirvana. He is in the neighborhood of nirvana. In other words, he can just use supernatural power to burn up his whole body, and then he can just leave and get into that nirvana state, what is extreme eternity. He does not want to go home until everybody is safe. Going home will be so comfortable. He doesn't want to. He wants to still roam around to make sure everybody is safe. How long would that take? Countless number of years. But he won't give up. He will just continue and continue. So Siddhikapa Bodhisattva is sometimes in hell, saving hell victims, sometimes in the animal realm, saving animals, sometimes in the human realm, saving humans. So the determining factor for a Bodhisattva's action is compassion or karuna, 慈悲, supported by the highest insight and wisdom, prajna. So compassion has to be supported by prajna. If you only have compassion but you don't have prajna, you may not exercise the right compassion. So everything must be supported by the wisdom inside of you. You're so kind, your kindness is very, very high level. But if you have no wisdom, you could have exercised, could have rendered the wrong kindness. You're walking in front of a liquor store, and there's a man coming up to you. Oh, can you spare me $1? That's a poor man, and I don't have any food. But he's standing right at the liquor store, in front of the liquor store, and you say, okay, here is $5, get yourself some food. You walk away and you walk in the liquor store to get his liquor. So you're actually helping him to perpetuate his bad habit of drinking. So you're going to exercise the right judgment. You've got to have prajna in your compassion. So everything is led by prajna, wisdom. If you don't have wisdom, you could mislead yourself into doing the wrong kind of compassion. You could spoil your kids because of the wrong compassion to your kids. You love your kids so much that you want to give him or her everything, but you don't know how to exercise your right judgment, your right wisdom. So everything must be led by prajna. So that's the meaning of the Bodhisattvas. So Bodhisattva, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, when practicing the profound, very profound, prajna paramita. What is prajna paramita? Prajna, remember? Pra means supreme and unique. Jna means consciousness and understanding. Paramita is perfection. Paramad means the other shore. Itta, that means that which has arrived. That means if you have achieved at this supreme and unique understanding, this consciousness, this understanding, close to perfection, you are going from this shore of suffering to that shore of enlightenment, to that paramita, enlightenment. This prajna, this wisdom can lead you From this shore to the other shore. This shore is a shore of life and death. That shore is a shore of nirvana, enlightenment. Leads you to Prajnaparamitta. Indirectly, we can say, believing in the Buddha's practice, and practice according to the Buddha, is not just blind faith. You've got to learn. Following the Buddha's practice, you acquire, you learn this wisdom. Not just say, I believe in the Buddha and I'm saved. The Buddha will save me. The Buddha cannot save you. The Buddha can only tell you, you practice all these, and you will get to the shore, to that shore. If Buddha, by his power, can save you, he would have saved you already. What's the point of telling you all this? He can just take your hands and throw you to heaven. You don't need to learn. But you can't do that. You have to get onto the ship, get onto it, drive that ship, and get to nirvana, and get to the other shore. You got to do it yourself. There's no free lunch, the saying goes, which is a cliche, but it's very philosophical. Nobody can save you. You yourself. Nobody, just you yourself. You save yourself. You got to walk that path. You got to go from that ocean of life and death, flow on it, drive your boat, and get to nirvana. So, Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, when practicing the Prajnaparamitta, another question comes up. Yeah, I got to take that boat, but what is that boat? What do I have to learn? What do I have to learn in order to go from this shore of confusion, of suffering, of ignorance, of greediness, of jealousy, of hatred? How do I get from this shore of mental afflictions to that shore? How do I do it? There are 6 broad subjects that you have to learn. The Buddha classified this subject broadly first, and then go into each specific subject very, very in great detail. But what is subjects? What is 6 subjects? In other words, when you get into that ship, you got to register with it and take 6 courses. We call it the 6 paramittas. This is just broad categories. That is just the name of the course. Dana, paramitta, giving. Generosity in both material and spiritual sense. You have to learn to be generous, always give. So it's a pity when you always say, how much do I have? How does it benefit me? You always, I, me, ego. How does it help me? First of all, have to learn how to forget about your ego. You have to go egoless. You just consider the whole mass of people. You have to give, learn how to give. How many people really like to give? Well, it seems to be so easy to learn how to give, but how many people would like to give? The lunch that we're eating every day are given by donors. So we're very thankful because the whole temple depends on donations, and every day they come to give. You see how Tom and Natalie, they were sitting at the entrance. They're sitting right there at the gracious hall on the desk, and people just come in to donate. There are people who really like to give. Not just giving to the temples, to give to all charities. And we depend on this giving, and there are people who come to give. But there are people who just come to receive. How does it benefit me? Oh, there's a temple on Stevenson Highway. Is it beautiful? Does it attract people over there? They have a free lunch too. So let's go and get the free lunch. They always want to think about what is free for them, what is better for them. They never think about giving out. You see the difference? You always learn to give, to give, to give. I always quote that Kennedy's quotation. Don't expect what the country can do for you. What you can do for the country. Or don't expect your mom and dad always want to give you everything you want. How do you give to the family? Are you helping your mom in your mom's housekeeping? You know what is the next step of giving? You know what? Giving, right here, we just give you a general term. When you know how to give, what's the implications from it? The first implication I can think of is a person who always learns how to give is a very responsible person. He's always thinking about his responsibility. A responsible father in a family always wants to, how much education I would give to my kid? How should I love my wife? How should I love my kids? A responsible employee would say, how do I do a better job for the company? How do I make everybody happy in the company? How do I build up that company? Well, irresponsible employee to say, they only give me $12 an hour. Right now I'm working all this and I think I'm worth 25. And he going to give me $12, so why should I work hard? He always stay at the idea of $12 an hour and not at the idea of $25 an hour. And the positive thinkers in North America say, they usually advise idle, lazy workers and say, if you think that way, you will never get the $25 return. You are worth $12 an hour, but you're giving out as if you are $25 an hour. Eventually you will reach up to 25 because the boss will look at you and say, oh, this guy, I'm giving you $12 an hour, but look, the way he works, he's worth 25. If I don't give him 25, he will leave, right? That's what the boss thinks. I'm going to give him 25. Maybe I should give him 26 just to make sure that he will stay in my company. So you are the victim of your own laziness. You are the victim of your own non-giving. So always give. Giving gives you the first implication I can think of. A person who likes to give is learning his sense of responsibility. He wants to give. Give out his service. Give out your love. Giving has many implications too. Giving in materiality, and giving in spirituality. Everybody can learn how to give. Oh, look, I'm not a rich guy. How can I? Oh, there's some people who walk in the temple and I see that guy. He walk in the temple and say, and he donated $2,000, $3,000. He must be loaded. He's a filthy rich person. Of course, he can give a lot of money out. I'm not. I'm poor. But don't you know that giving is not just in material, in kinds? Give your advice. Give your love. Give your consideration. Even give your smile. Good morning. Give your smile. Give your courtesy. Give your sense of cooperation. Give your sense of coordination. Give your sense of caringness. Giving is not always in money. As a matter of fact, the most effective giving is not in money. Well, we can talk about giving for hours, but right now I'm just introducing you a course, and that course is called Generosity and Giving. You've got to learn that course. How much time you need to learn that course? At least a few years, I guess. It's not that easy. Oh, I learned how to give. Oh, how to give? What's the point of giving? You got to learn all that. I'm giving you just a course outline of this ship. If you register with that ship to go to that nirvana, shore of nirvana, you got to register with all these 6 courses. And the syllabus in each course is so abundant. I haven't gotten into that yet. Let me introduce you to all the 6 courses before we leave, okay? The Sila parameters is ethics, discipline. You have to learn the ethics, the discipline, how to discipline yourself. Discipline is not to discipline others. Discipline is to discipline yourself. You don't say, hey, Jack, how come you're doing that? In the temple, you should do this. Discipline is not to discipline others. It's to discipline yourself. So how do we learn this Sila? There's a lot in Sila. Take that course, otherwise you can't graduate. This ethic course. Zanti parameter, patience and tolerance. Take that course, Zanti, patience and tolerance. There's another course that you should take, Virya, mental strength. You have to learn how to build up your strength, how to work hard, how to be diligent, how to conjure up your energy to strive towards doing it. You know, I think in most universities, they're lacking this course. Have you ever encountered a course that is how to teach you to be more vigorous and work hard in your degree? Not many. I haven't seen in many university syllabuses that they teach you how to work harder, how to build up the energy to achieve all these other courses. Maybe each university should have a course like that, a Virya course, to build up your strength in aiming at your degree. Build up your strength to achieve it. Don't drop out in your first year, second year, third year, fourth year. How to achieve your aim, how to motivate yourself. There's motivational courses. That is Virya. The fifth is Dhyana Paramita, meditation. How to meditate. There are 5 courses which you must take, otherwise you can't graduate. And there's the last course, number 6, which is the most important. That's a prerequisite for each of the 5 courses above. That's a prerequisite. If you don't have that, there's no way that you could complete all these courses. What is that? You should tell me. What is that? Last course? Huh? Oh yeah, you graduated. There's prajna, perfection of wisdom. You gotta have wisdom to guide every one of these 5 courses. If you don't have the perfection of wisdom to guide your giving, you gave out to the wrong guide. If you don't have wisdom in your precepts, in your discipline, you discipline yourself in the wrong way. If you don't have wisdom in Zanti, your tolerance is not exercised in the right direction. For that reason, your Virya, your mental strength, your Dhyana, your meditation, if you don't have wisdom in your meditation has gone astray, gone in the wrong way. There are many meditators who have gone into the wrong way. Watch out. Not all instructors of meditation walk the proper way. So you got to have wisdom to judge whether your master in meditation is right. All right, so I introduced you to those 6 courses, and first of all, you got to be interested in getting registered into that ship of crossing the ocean, and then we register with these 6 courses. As far as the syllabus of each course, we still have to get into more and more and more to it, and hopefully we all can graduate and get into that shore.